Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Football Focus SG podcast. Myself, Faiz, Harun Azrianafi, and Mr. JB. How are you guys doing, especially after the SPL season so far?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Now it's international break. Kind of boring. I'm not watching too many matches. It goes to show how much we are dependent on club football. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, club football has more action than international, right? So,
yeah. So, anticipating a lot of good matches coming up. Big matches coming up in club football. So, yep.
yeah, Mr. JB, yourself, after drilling in to our SPL, so how's the international week been for you?
Well, you're right about that. It's an amazing end to our beautiful league, but we'll save that for another time. International week is just, well, international week where the timings are all over the place for us. And yeah, it's not one of the best times to catch up on football, but yeah, looking forward to this coming weekend where it's back to club football.
Yeah, I mean, even though, yes, international week may not be as attractive as club matches, but there are a lot of things happen. You know, we have the League of Nations Cup that happened recently with the finals that has been concluded that we can talk about. We also have the Africa Cup Nation that's going on, or the World Cup qualifying of it. A lot of things are going on all across everywhere. I think you guys even watched South America matches earlier, I believe. So that alone, like there are still football. May not be attractive, there's still football. But one thing that we're gonna touch on because it's internationally, and that is for Singapore, for us fans ourselves, is the upcoming AFF Suzuki Cup that's gonna happen this year, December. And have you guys seen the group? And let me know, tell me, what do you guys think? Your initial reaction when you see the group. Harun, I'm gonna start with you first. When you see the group, what was your initial thought?
Okay. So we have Myanmar, Philippines, Brunei or Timor-Leste, and Thailand. In all honesty, I feel my first thought is we should get through the group stage and move out from the group stage, qualify from the group stage. I think a potential hurdle for us would be Philippines. I think everyone know about Thailand, but I think a potential tough match. Every match is going to be tough. They pose different challenges to our national team, but I think in particular, the match against Philippines would prove to be the decisive one. I feel if we can get over Philippines, not saying Myanmar, Brunei, Timor-Leste are not tough competitions, but I think Philippines would pose a higher threat to us. So I think if we get past Philippines, we should be able to qualify for the next round. So, yep.
Mr. JB yourself, I believe. Wait, is it really confirmed Timor Leste already, or is it still Brunei or Timor Leste? Because
I think
they have a match, right?
Yeah, they have yet to play that match. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't think
Until they're gonna
again,
pose a threat.
I no offense against all the people of Brunei and all the people of Timor Leste, but yep, we should have the resources to get the better of them.
Yeah, Mr. JB yourself, confident with the group that we're in?
To be honest, looking back at least about a year or so, where our national team has been playing, it doesn't look so good, to be honest.
Yeah.
Based on that performance. But with the announcement that we will be hosting it, the tournament will be the host. I hope this will definitely spark the players again.
Yeah.
And yeah, back to your question about the group. Uh, not not an easy one, I would say. I mean, Thailand, Myanmar, and Philippines. Well, I would say we can probably get something out of Philippines, maybe. And of course, Timor Leste, Brunei is like a definite given. Unless we decide to, I don't know, sit back or laid back. Again, no offense to all these Southeast Asian nations.
Yeah.
But historically, footballing wise, we kind of know, which Southeast Asian nation are actually, there. So definitely, I think our biggest threat is Thailand and Myanmar. I feel, and of course, I think Group B as well isn't that easy either. So I believe Thailand and Vietnam are, I think, the two top ranked team in the Southeast Asian region at the moment. Uh,
That's
so yeah, so I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah, of course, I'm really hoping that we can somewhat make it out of the group stage, not out as in out of the tournament, but yeah, hopefully move on to the next round.
Yeah, of course, most definitely you would love to see that. But I think personally, I feel that Thailand and Philippines agree with Harunasi. They are definitely one of the two most, I would say, very strong teams to go against in the recent years. It's not like back then where Singapore were actually one of the top dogs of Southeast Asia, but now we seem to go down in the pecking order a bit. But like what Mr. JB said earlier, Harunasi, like for Group B that you see, we have Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, and Vietnam. Out of those five teams, which of the two that's actually gonna come out on top that you feel is qualified enough to be on top?
Well, I think Vietnam is a given, but having said that, they have not been getting the results in the competition that they are playing now, the Asian qualifiers, if I'm not wrong. I might be wrong with that, or it's the World Cup qualifiers.
It's the World Cup qualifiers,
World
like
Cup
it's the second
qualifiers.
round of the World Cup
Yeah,
qualifiers. So they are
so
facing very hard teams like China,
true.
Oman.
True. But if my memory serves me well, I think in the previous edition they did relatively quite well, even though of course they didn't make it to
Yeah,
the World Cup. But if I'm not wrong, they have lost their last three matches. But again, like you
it's a
mentioned,
very close losses despite
yeah,
losing.
true. But again, like you mentioned, this is going towards the world stage, even though in the Asian region. But coming this December, it's the ASEAN region. So I think all eyes are on them, on the coach and on the team itself. They have a few stars, standout players down there. So I believe everyone would expect them to qualify easily from that group. I feel the other two teams, which of course there are only two teams that can progress, but I think Malaysia and Indonesia, that would be a tough fight between these two countries, because truth be told, Malaysia is not has not been performing well. I'm sorry to all my Malaysian brothers and sisters, but they have not been performing well at the international stage. Even now, if you take a look at the Malaysian squad now, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. Not all of, when we talk about Malaysian football, we have to talk about JDT. Again, sorry to all the other state teams fans. But if you take a look, JDT has not released all of its players for the national team.
Yeah,
Rightfully so, they are playing in the Malaysia Cup competition right now. So I think it's fair between JDT and FA, the Malaysian FA, for sure they have worked something out. But I think a surprise package, I don't know why, but every edition of the Suzuki Cup, I've always been interested in Indonesia. They have that warrior spirit, something which is very close to me, very important to me. They have that fighting spirit, and you can never take Indonesians lightly. And looking back, of course, we all know they recently won. I don't know whether the second leg has been played or not. I'm not too sure. I apologize for that. But they won the first leg against Chinese Taipei 2-1, and
they
I
won
think
the second leg as well.
they won the second leg. Look at that. So, and Chinese Taipei is no pushovers as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. But I think it's between these three teams, these three countries: Vietnam, Indonesia, and Malaysia for me.
Yeah. Mr. JB, would you agree with that, or are you expecting a surprise maybe from Cambodia and Laos?
Well, not so much of a surprise for the nations that you mentioned. I mean, historically, if you look at the tournament, I think only four nations actually won this tournament. Of course, the most being Thailand, followed by Singapore, and then I think Vietnam won twice, and then I believe Malaysia has it once.
Yeah.
So you see, it's a very diverse group, but at the same time, you kind of know, these are the favorites for the tournament. So, having said that, I think Harun Nazri also brought up a very interesting point about Indonesia. Yes, they are an exciting one to watch. They are the dark horses, definitely. And yes, I definitely expect to see some surprise from them. I think they are doing well, and of course historically as well. I think they've been in the finals of the AFF Suzuki Cup like 5 times, but failed to win it. So it's quite shocking to me to see that stat, because I mean, being in the final 5 times and not win once, it's a bit of tough luck there. So I believe
Kind of
that,
like Juventus in Champions League final. Seems.
yeah, so and it's almost the same like my beloved Oranje Dutch team as well. So yeah, so you see, it's interesting. So hopefully, this, who knows, this upcoming tournament might be the season for them to break through. Thailand, being Thailand, they are the favorites as well, but recently I feel that Vietnam kind of peaked over them a little bit. Not saying that Thailand will be easy. I mean, they might come out guns a blazing and prove me wrong again. But I think at the moment, I think in the Southeast Asian region, I think the best one at the moment in my eyes is Vietnam.
Yeah.
Malaysia being Malaysia, like what Nazri mentioned, it's becoming like a JDT team almost, with all the stars as well, and also they have some controversial names like Lady Dawn, who is currently not so popular among our Malaysian fans, from what I've seen and read about, and also their striker, what's the striker name, Dipola or something, yeah.
Yeah.
So also not a favorite at the moment. So yeah, kind of not say writing off Malaysia, as a footballing nation at the moment, but they need to sort out, all these issues before, hopefully before the tournament, so that they can come out guns a blazing. And of course, Singapore being Singapore, I mean, we won it 4 times. I definitely expect them to go through further, because I believe the last Suzuki Cup, I think we went out in the group stage, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure, I might be wrong, but
Yeah.
but
We
we
were
definitely
out
didn't
of
make it.
the group station.
Yeah, so I mean, we definitely didn't make it to the semi-finals or whatsoever. And I think both of us actually went to the stadium to watch that one. So
Yeah. Against
I
Malaysia,
mean,
yeah.
exactly against
And we
Malaysia.
got
And
silenced by them in the.
yep, because yeah, we lost it at the national stadium. So yeah, so I mean, those are my favorites. Basically Thailand. I'm sorry, Vietnam, who is the top favorite, followed by Thailand and probably Singapore, and of course Indonesia being the dark horse.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, looking at the World Cup rankings, I think if you guys want to know, Vietnam's currently the only Southeast Asia team that is in the top 100 of the world ranking right now in terms of FIFA. So they are really doing well despite losing close scores. I believe they lose to China 3-2 by a 95-minute goal. They lose to Australia only 1-0. They have very close matches, but we can still see them as a threat, that's for sure. But now I just want to touch a bit on Philippines, because in the previous Suzuki Cup, they were flying. They did well, actually. And they were also the runner-up for one of the Champions Cup of Asia. But as years gone by, they seem to kind of like drop down a little bit. They seem to lose a lot of the usual players that they have. I believe they still have some of the players that used to play in the Premier League, like the goalkeeper Neil Etheridge, I believe, as one of it. But do you see Philippines better than Singapore? Because we can see Thailand is one of the favorites and Vietnam one of the favorites. Yes, we can see that. It's kind of like fiddling for the second spot, which is basically in Group A, is either Philippines, Singapore. Group B will be Indonesia and Malaysia, right? I think that's what we all can agree. But looking at focusing on Singapore, do you think that as of now, Philippines is still a better team than Singapore at home? Mr. JB, you first. Is Philippines still a better quality side than Singapore?
Wow, I think that's a tough one to say. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm the right one to actually touch on this, because to be honest, I haven't really catch up much on Philippine football or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I believe.
But do you believe in terms of Singapore squad? Like, you've seen the SPLs, you've seen the Singapore players recently.
Yeah, yeah.
Like compared to the previous Suzuki Cup that you're saying that we were out by group stage, what are
Yeah,
the chances that you think that we can go out the group this tournament compared to the previous?
Wow, I think, no excuse to actually go out, in the group stage for us, especially we already got the hosting rights. And of course, our up and coming players, which I believe we're going to touch on later on,
Yeah.
it's promising, it's promising. I wouldn't say that, it's a sure win, but it is promising. I mean, it shows that we are in the right direction and we have what it takes to go further. But, football being football, how much further, we won't know. We won't know. As far as Philippines is concerned, I'm not sure if the young husbands are even still playing at the moment and all those names that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely expecting to see some fresh faces. And I believe the Philippines under 23 is also in the same group as our Singapore under 23, I think, for the upcoming tournament as well. So that will be something to look out for as well. I mean, new faces are good. New faces are not all, or people will say, oh, lack of experience, bunch of youths. But to be honest, I mean, if you look at Indonesia right now, the squad that they have, are mostly new names, new faces.
Yeah.
But that's where the surprise element is. So yeah, I mean, let's just wait for the tournament and we'll see.
Yeah. No, well, Harun Hazri, do you agree? Like, do you have the faith and confidence over the Singapore players this tournament as compared to the previous tournament that we got kicked out of the group stage after losing to Malaysia and all?
I managed to take a look through at the probable team selection for the Philippines national team while Mr. JB was talking, while Mr. JB was in conversation with you. And looking at the squad, they have a lot of players playing overseas, to be honest. We only have a number of players playing in the local league. Most of the players are overseas. So that would pose as a I don't think I don't want to use the word trouble, but that would pose a little bit of difficulty maybe for the Philippines national
He gives
team.
us an advantage in terms of experience.
Of course. But that's not where I'm. Of course, giving them an advantage is one. Having the experience of playing in a higher level league, of course, is one. But to our advantage is we don't even know whether they can make it for the competition or not, having to travel during this COVID pandemic. So we don't know whether they can even travel and be a part of the national team. Even for us, the Singapore national team, we have, to me, in my eyes, at least half of the starting 11 playing overseas too. So we don't know whether they can make it back in time to be part of the national team. Hopefully things go well and they can come back. At the end of the day, we want to watch good football, and good football usually comes when you have good players on the field. To go back to your question, do I have the confidence that we will do better than getting knocked out from the group stage? It's a resounding yes. I'll be very honest. I don't want to be overconfident because then I'll get hurt by it if you don't qualify. But
It's the hope that kills you.
yeah, it's the hope that kills. But I've always
As an
been,
Arsenal fan, we know. Yeah.
at the end of the day, no matter how much we can be angry at our national team players and whatnot, deep down inside, we all want our national team to do well. In all honesty, at least for me. But I am pretty. I don't want to use the word confidence. I don't want to jinx it, but I am pretty. I don't know what's the word, but I think, I believe that we are strong enough based on the selection that we're going to go through later, that we can make it through to the next round after a lot of heartbreaks in the past, and with the recent concluded SPL season, which has had two great seasons this season and the last one, and with the emergence of a local champion after so long, after 7 years, with the catalyst of the Lion City Sailors, which we hope to be the catalyst of better things to come for local football. It's I was listening to another podcast earlier, and Haris even mentioned that this is a good moment for the national team to achieve something and to open the eyes up of Singaporeans to come down and support local teams in the SPL. So there's added pressure there for the Lions, but yeah, I want to see them do well. I want to support. If given the opportunity, I want to go down to the stadium and watch the matches. Hopefully, they lift up the 1,000 capacity to maybe 2,000 or 3,000 at least. We can make a ruckus in them. And so,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
who knows? If we were to go there and watch, then we can do a bit of like a AFTV after the match ratings and
No
reactions.
AFTV. No AFTV.
I think it's gonna be a massacre then. But speaking about the squad, well, the provision squad is out for Singapore. I'm sure you guys have seen it. So my first question to you guys is: are you guys happy with the squad? Harunazi, are you happy with the squad?
In all honesty, I am. Barring, I apologize. I'm looking down at the squad right now.
Yeah.
I think the selection, the 27 players, I believe it's 27 players. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty satisfied with the squad, at least 95%, 95%, if I can say that. I think there are question marks over 2 or 3 selections, but
Gonna get to that in a while.
yeah, there are, in my eyes at least, I think there are 2 or 3 question mark about the selections, but overall, I think it's a good selection. I see good names there. I see potential in the squad, and I think it's aligned to what I saw recently based on the players that are called up. I watched matches, and I think justifiable, 95% justifiable at least for me.
85% justifiable. Mr. JB, yourself, you saw the squad? Are you happy with the squad?
Happy? Well, I guess truth to be told, I'm happy looking at the names. Yeah, performance-wise will be a different story. Just now I did mention that Malaysia is a JDT team, but looking at the squad, I think right now again,
you have the LCS team.
yeah, it seems like ourselves, we are slowly turning into an LCS national team, which I mean,
who
in
can
all
blame them?
fairness,
This is their first ever. They won the title after 7 years. So.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, the players in LCS have somewhat proven themselves, a little bit. But now it's a matter of playing with players from the other clubs and getting that gel together for the national team over there. But overall, I'm quite satisfied actually. Not many names that I wouldn't want to see there or would have want to see there. I think it covers most ground pretty well. There are a few, of course, some names that are no longer there based on the last World Cup qualifiers squad that was chosen by Coach Tatsuma. So I believe this is something refreshing as well. I believe he made this selection when post World Cup qualifier and then following the league up to the end of the league as well. So so I'm pretty I wouldn't say happy, but I'm okay. I'm all right with the squad. Yeah.
All right. So of course we all want to see our team to win. And I can see there's a bit of a mixed feel between you two. Like there's a few names that you guys feel it's a bit of a question mark. So now the next question immediately I'm gonna ask: who's the surprise call up for you guys? Mr. JB, gonna start with you first. You can give more than one names if you feel like you have to, but who is the surprise inclusion to this squad?
Wow, surprise inclusion, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
it can be whether they deserve it or not, or whether you feel like maybe they should show or perform more, or maybe there are some other players that should have been called up but wasn't.
Okay. Looking at it, I think the first surprising one, not say surprising, but the one that I wasn't expecting so much is Nazrul Nazari. I'm not too sure if he had a good season with Hougang. So far from what I've seen, based on my own perspective as a fan watching some Hougang matches, I believe he can do more. We have seen his better days. He's a better season. But for me personally, this season I'm not sure if he's step up his game to deserve this call up. But then again, we are not a coach, so I believe the coach knows what he's probably is able to contribute and bring to the table. My next player that I feel that is quite surprising. Where is it? Hang on. I was looking through the list and I think I can't escape it. Where is that? Okay, hang on. I think I lose it. Just give me a moment. Okay, so we have Najun Nazari. Oh, okay. The surprising one for me is Shakir Hamza. I think that one is it's a good surprise. You know, it's a pleasant surprise.
It's a
I
good
mean,
surprise. Okay.
yeah. I mean, it's a very good surprise. I'm surprised in the sense that the way that you know, the World Cup qualifier kind of unfold a little bit. You know, we have that sort of hoo-ha with him, and the coach and what so have you, and all kinds of rumors. So it's quite refreshing to see him back, and I feel that kind of deserve it. Oh yeah, and the second one is LCS player, Adam Swandy as well.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if he has enough game time, you know, for even LCS. I'm not too sure about that on the actual stats there. And I think in the last few games, I'm not sure if it's the last one or probably the last two, where he seems to pick up another injury again. It's a bit unfortunate. He started off really young and bright, you know, a few years ago. But recently, it seems like luck isn't so much on his side, and he hasn't been given too much of a game time from what I've seen so far. So his selection to the national team is quite surprising as well on my end. Other than that, I feel the rest of the names are quite all right. Like I believe Zulfami Arifin as well. I think he recently just signed for Thailand.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Sukhothai FC. I'm not too sure before that. Like is he still in the Thai league or not? So I'm not I'm sorry, I didn't quite follow his career path and how much games he's been starting. So if he's been starting, then good, you know. Then I think he probably has the minutes for it. And of course, another good surprise is Amy Reka as well. I feel he has been one of the outstanding players for Geylang this season for the league, and I feel that it's a deserving call up for him. I think he's at the right
Very
age where, yep, and I think he's at the right age where, you know, he's at his peak. So that is great as well. I'm quite surprised by Ilhan Fandi, but at the same time, I feel that I think there are some updates or something ongoing that he may not recover on time. So yeah, so I believe and since this is just a provisional squad, changes may happen here and there. And I believe the coach can pick up to 30 players. And at the moment, I think we're looking at 27, 28, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Currently, I believe the news did say that there's two players that's already currently on standby in case of anything happen.
yeah.
Ilhan Fandi is one of it, like what you said. And another one is Hami Shaheen.
Okay.
Is another player. So basically both from the Young Lions as well.
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
so
that's right.
these two are on standby as of the moment due to their injuries and all.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, they face injuries, so I think they're battling with recovery and everything like that. So we hope that, who knows, they can recover on time. But at the same time, you know, we try not to rush them as well. And of course, the most starking surprise is the players who are not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we all know by Haki, he's not on the list. I'm not sure if he.
The usual experienced players.
Yeah, you know, exactly.
Like, you know,
Our
maybe
usual
I'm pretty sure
senior
at
players.
one point in time we have Madhu, Haki, we have.
That's right.
Okay, I'm not gonna say Benek was just way long ago, but like
I
one
mean,
point in time we have like the whole Lions 12. Like Faris Hamid is there, you
Yep,
know,
that's
the
right.
usuals. And now we don't see it anymore, you know. So we were really changing the whole thing, and it's no longer gonna be the same usual faces as how you see now. And it's nice to see some new inclusion. But
Yeah, for sure.
would you share with us as well that which are the surprise inclusion for you, and which one that you feel should have been there in the first name and all that?
Okay, so for me, a few names. I'm just gonna go in by the position. I think Zarfan for me was a surprise call up. I felt, you know, with whatever happened to Zaiful, but it's not like he finished the season without a club. with whatever that happened at Balestier. I felt that maybe he could have been picked in place of Zarfan, but nevertheless, I think Zarfan did put out some good showing, not great, but some good showing. Whereas Zaiful, there were some moments where he was a little bit nervy. His handling wasn't as good as what it was before. Maybe that was taken into consideration, and also maybe that time away from football, that 2 weeks that he did not play, something like that. Maybe it was taken into consideration as well. So it is what it is. The other name is Ikram Rifki. I think we don't see him playing much for Geylang. I think I even brought up the question, where was he playing? Because in all honesty, no hard feelings towards the boy or the player. I'm sorry. Because I don't see him playing often. That's why the question popped up. But
it's understandable. It's fine.
yeah, maybe Coach
It's just
Tatsuma
a
saw.
fan's opinion. That's fine.
Yeah, maybe Coach Tatsuma saw something in him in the brief appearances that he made for Geylang. We don't know. Next surprise inclusion to me would be Adam Swandy, same as Mr. JB. I think with Adam Swandy, and I agree with Mr. JB, I think he has not had enough minutes with LCS, so that's a surprise. But again, maybe Coach Tatsuma saw something in him, or maybe want to give him an opportunity to shine at the international stage, maybe. And this is him coming off from not the easiest of seasons. He had a setback last season, a pretty serious injury. Still, I think from my observation, I think he needs more minutes. And being at LCS, I think somehow doesn't help him. If he were to play at somewhere else besides LCS, I think he would have gotten the minutes. But we never know. Some issues with club football, but for some players, you have issues at club football. When you go to international stage, you may shine. We never know. Next on the list, I think to me, Anu is quite a surprise. I've been watching his matches. I've been watching the games he plays for Kedah. Yes, he's a starter at Kedah, but I think Anu has a lot of potential. But there are instances when he was playing for Kedah, which I think I won't say game management, but I'm not. The way he plays his game, sometimes he easily gives the ball away. His decision making is not, to me, on point. If I were to compare it with Shadan, or if I were to compare it with some other players who are playing in center of midfield, if we were to compare with players in the SPL, I think his decision making can be better. And I think everyone saw him playing in the World Cup qualifiers previously, and I think if people were to watch the same match as me, I think you would agree with me that he was a little bit of a lost sheep in the match that he played.
He does look like.
Yeah, so that's quite a surprise inclusion. Next one, I think those are my surprise inclusions. If we were to talk about, I think, players who missed out, I think Lionel Tan could have been Lionel Tan, Hougang centre back. I think he had a decent season. I saw him at the start of the season. His partnership with Maksat was brilliant, and then along the way they changed it up a little here and there. But I think overall perspective, I think he did pretty decent for the Hougang squad, and I think he deserved the call up. And top of head, another one I think would be Farhan Zulkifli, also another player from Hougang. And to bring up what Mr. JB mentioned earlier with regards to Nazrul, I think if we were to put head to head between Farhan and Nazrul, I personally will pick Farhan. I think Farhan offers much more attackingly and defensively. Not saying that Nazrul does not, but if we were to compare,
Nazrul has an amazing work rate.
Yeah, true.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, I think if there's another player that we can compare Nazrul to, is Jumaat Jantan, our former national team player as well. So, but if I were to go head to head right now, as of the season that we just saw, I think comparing both of them, Farhan and Nazrul, I think I would pick Farhan over Nazrul, just based on what I saw this season, consistency and all that. I think Nazrul also started a few matches from the bench, and also let me see whether he's in the list. I might be wrong. There's a name that's not there as well. Hafiz Sujat. Yeah, we don't see Hafiz Sujat in the list.
And the usual names,
Yeah, and we can speak about Baihaki, we can speak about Madu, we can speak about Yase, but I think they've not had a, I don't want to go directly at them, but Tampines as a whole has not had a great season, and I think it's justifiable for them to miss out on this one. But
Yeah.
Hafiz Sujat, I think at the start of the season he was a little bit shaky, but coming towards the end, I think he was pretty decent. But again, from an overall perspective, I think justifiable that he's been left out as well. So all in all, that's my take for our national team provisional squad so far.
All right. I do want to highlight a few players that
Yep.
usually was there but wasn't, and we did talk about this man before in our previous episode. He was a captain in some of our World Cup qualifying matches, and that's Yasir Hanafi, who is not there as well. So, with the inclusion of the midfielders, like what you guys said, like Adam Swandy, I think both of you said Adam Swandy could be, well, there might be some other players. Okay, I'm not gonna say that Yasir Hanafi is a better player than Adam Swandy. I mean, it could be. Everyone may agree with that. But the one name that I feel like should have been there as well is Hazwan Halim. I think he deserves at least.
True.
He deserves.
Yeah, I just saw the list again, and I was maybe bad on me. I was expecting his name to be there, but he's not there as well.
Yeah, I personally thought Hazwan Halim had a very good season.
True.
Especially, I mean, for a struggling side club that he's in, and the way that he performed, the way that he provides to the attacking players is actually really good. And I think he deserves at least a call up once, at least a cap, But well, it is provision, like what we said, it's still early. Anything could happen. We may not know, but we're gonna come out with our own best 11. But of course, the one player that I want to talk about with you guys is the player that's gonna make a full debut in the Singapore jersey, and that's the player Song Wei Young, the new Singapore player of ours who is converted from Korea to Singapore. What do you guys think about this Song Wei Young? Like, how much does this gonna change in terms of the dynamic of play? I'm sure, okay, maybe language barrier may not be an issue now because he's been here for over 10 years, but we've seen how his style of play, especially in LCS. Do you think he's actually going to excel for Singapore in the Suzuki Cup? Going to start with you, Harnazi, first, for our fresh and young player, Song Wei Young, who's going to make a debut for the Suzuki Cup.
Okay. I think he's not that young anymore. I think he's 27 or 28. I might be wrong. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. His name is Wei Young, but he's not that young.
So I think the first thing that comes to my mind is when it comes to any teams, you want to have assets in the team.
Yeah.
Is he an asset to the team? I don't think so. Are there players better than him? For sure there are.
Yeah, just look at Albirex.
Yeah, has he been playing at his best position for SELs? No. I think the last few matches he was playing up top, and that's not his position. I think we saw the best of Song Wei Young when he was playing somewhere in the pocket between midfield and attack, somewhere in the attacking midfield position, where he can drift everywhere and collects the ball and make the play. He's the playmaker up front. So having said that, look, if it's entirely up to me, you mentioned earlier we're going to come up with our best 11. Is he part of my first 11 if I'm the coach of the national team? I don't think so, because I think, like I mentioned, we have better players. If he's brought into play as a forward, it's going to be tough for us, but he might surprise us. It's the first time he's playing in an international competition for Singapore. He's going to be all fired up. And like I said earlier, you might be having an on and off season for your club, but when it comes to something as big as this, representing your country for the first time, you want to go all guns blazing. You never know what may happen. But his performance for LCS this season, to me, in my eyes, has been up and down. I think from the moment that it was put up front or played alongside Stipe up front, maybe the first few matches that happened, he was still trying to acclimatize to that position, or he's still trying to get used to that position. But as we come towards the end of the season, he did bang in some goals, but it's not the ideal. I won't say ideal. It's not the just he's not a forward for me.
Yeah.
To put it as such, he's not a forward.
He's not an out and out.
He's not an out and out striker. He's a attacking midfield kind of player. But again, it's not that we do not have players to do that with the provisional squad that we have. Am I excited to see him play for the national team? I am excited for him, but do I think that he's going to be an asset for us? Hopefully, but with the current players that we have, I don't think so. I think not to put pressure on him. We don't know whether he's even listening to this or not, but I think he has to step up. He knows that he's coming in from somewhere. He has this baggage behind him that he's a former South Korean. He's coming to Singapore. He's been fighting to get his citizenship for quite some time. This is his chance. This is his opportunity. This is his moment to get Singaporeans to love him. Make a bang, man. Song, if you're given a chance, make a bang. Make us love you. Make Singaporeans appreciate you. And, you never know what may happen. But yeah, am I excited to see him for the national team? Not at that moment. Not at that moment. Not at that moment. If he does well, if he does well in this competition for the Lions, I'll be the happiest person. I'll be the happiest person in the world for him.
Yeah, of course, for sure.
Yep.
Mr. JB, would you agree with what you said? I mean, you can see a little bit of a mix and mix. Like, would you agree that he actually needs to improve or show more? Or is it because that now he's just turned into a Singaporean playing for Singapore? Is the expectation of us too high for him? Or is he actually carrying all that pressure?
Before that, Mr. JB, I'm sorry. Before that, if it's the Song Woo-Yong of 2, 3, 4 seasons ago, I'll be excited to watch him.
Oh, I mean, most definitely. Yeah.
If it's 2, 3, 4 seasons ago under coach Aidil Sharin, under coach Philip Au, I'll be excited to see him. He was flying. But then again, he was not playing as a forward. He was playing in that pocket between midfield and attacking mid.
I mean, it's kind of like trying to put the best, playing to his strength. That's what we're trying to do.
True.
But I guess that's just kind of up to Tatsuma, I mean, we can imagine if, let's say, Song Woo-Yong playing in the pockets behind, like, maybe Reka forward, with Gabriel Kwak on his left, and maybe Iksan Fandi or Faris Ramli on the right. It can be quite an exciting forward. So, but Mr. JB, would you agree that, Song Woo-Yong is not playing to his strength, or is the expectation too much? Are you excited to see him in the squad playing for us for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited because I think it's been a while since we even have, I would say, someone who joined under this foreign sports talent scheme or whatever they name it.
Yeah.
It's been a while because I remember back then in the early 2000s, that's where we actually have more of such players. But focusing on Song, I think, I mean, I'm excited because he seems very determined to get the citizenship, which he successfully finally did it. So definitely the pressure's on him now, right?
Yeah.
Making the debut on this tournament. So expectations going to be high, right? And of course, his previous citizenship come from also, a very good footballing nation background. But at the same time, he's been here for quite a while. Like what Harun Nazri mentioned, he played for Home United previously, now turned LCS. But I believe that before I actually touch on that, I have to agree with what Harun Nazri mentioned as well. Back then when he was playing for Home United under coach Philippe Au and Aidil Sharin, I think yes, he was really flying because I think he was way younger then. And I must say that the current Lion City Sailors squad is actually very compact and kind of, clustered with talents, with big names. You know what I'm saying? So it's very easy for some of the players to so-called drown, in
a way.
Exactly, or try to be the breakout player. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so stacked. I mean, you just look at LCS attacking lineup. It's literally stacked. You have Faris, you have Gabriel, you have Stipe, you have Song, you have the You have the Brazilian as well. So it's really compact in that sense. So I think it's not so easy for Song to kind of shine in that sense. Even more surprising was Tipe Plazibat. I feel that um for some reason, when this season ended, I was like, I expected, a bit more from him because we know that he's done so much better in the past, you see. So, yep. So definitely gonna be a huge pressure on Song, for him to perform, and I hope that he's equally excited to prove, to the Singaporeans that he's here to stay. He's gonna make a mark in the national team, and this is his chance. I mean, yes, unfortunately, I think he's the only one right now who's under the foreign talent scheme that actually is in the provisional squad right now. So all eyes will be on him. Pressure is going to be on him. So I really hope that this pressure will actually, or for him to actually use this sort of pressure to kind of drive him, to perform. The good news is that he's playing alongside his club mates. You got Shadan, Faris, Gabriel. I'm not saying that those will be the confirmed starters, but likely,
Yeah, I mean, it kind of helps him a little bit to,
Yep.
I mean, blend in. I mean, he won't feel different because, I mean, when you have the same teammates like how you used to play, then, it shouldn't be much problem because they know each other's style of play. Am I
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So basically now it's a matter of Coach Tatsuma to see how he's gonna, bring him to the team, how he's gonna gel up. I agree. His best position is the attacking midfielder role. Not an out and out striker, just somewhere, in between the striker and, and the number 6, kind of role, somewhere in between there, where I think he will thrive. And I really hope that, he will definitely outshine himself and, make us love him, make us, get excited for, looking forward to the national team again. So yeah, I mean, it's you know, it can be a hit, it can be a miss, at the end of the day, that is football, especially these days in 2021 where everybody is very judgmental about things sometimes. We get so excited sometimes. Social media can just, paint a very big picture of you can be good in one day and bad the other day and everything like that. So yep, so I'm definitely looking forward to him and what he can bring to the table in terms of the national team, because if he can fight so hard for the citizenship, I really hope that he can fight for his position, prove himself, and start scoring and or perhaps assisting, and it'll be all good, man.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think for him, would be setting a bar or expectation that we can expect of him. We don't want to go too far, but we know his qualities that he is definitely better than some of the Singaporean players. Because basically, I mean, to be fair, I don't think we have a lot of South Korean players that actually convert to be a Singaporean to play in Singapore. So, for us to have him is exciting in a way. But like what you guys say is true, I agree with both of y'all. If it's 4 or 5 years ago, easily just bring him in, But this is now coming down the road. He knows Singapore a bit well. He knows the player a bit more. I won't be surprised if he knows some Malay words. Maybe we can find out from him. But with that being said, we're coming to the end of this episode. Of course, in the future episode, we're gonna try to come up with a best 11 once the squad are official after the provision. And also, we're gonna talk about the Premier League. We're gonna have the SPL review. Of course, congratulations again to LCS for winning the Singapore Premier League. But now comes the question of the day for you guys. Looking at the current squad right now, okay, the provision squad that we have, who is your one player to watch for this tournament? A bit of an interesting question. I'm sure there might be a few that you want us to have a one to watch for Singapore squad. So, Mr. JB, going with you first. Who is your one to watch from this provisional squad?
Wow. Okay. Can I just pick one player, or it
I
can
mean,
be...
you can pick more than one if you have to, but I'll leave it up to you. Maybe a max of 3.
Okay, sure.
We can't name the whole squad.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm definitely excited for the one player that we just mentioned, Song. He's definitely the one to watch.
Yeah.
That's number one. And number two, I think for me, is also Tajeli. I kind of like the way he play, especially coming towards the end of the season. I think he's proven himself, you know, to be another quality player. So he will be my second player to watch as well.
Yeah.
It will be very interesting to see him. Um, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go one more, so it's gonna be four players from me. Sorry, Faiz. So
All right, four players. All right.
yeah, so the third one will be Nur Adam as well, another exciting young player.
Yeah.
We know he's one of a rare natural left backs at the moment that we have. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. And of course, last but not least is Jacob Muller. I
Yeah.
feel that he has definitely somewhat grow, into a very quality player at the moment. That's why he deserved this call up. So it'll be very interesting to see how he's gonna fit in, you know, that defense, and how his coach Tatsuma is gonna use him. Of course, naturally you will feel that he won't get enough minutes.
Yeah.
He will probably just be, introduced probably, later on, but who knows? You never know. So for me, these four players is my player to watch.
All right. Harun Nazri, over to you. Coach, share with us which one is the one to watch.
For now, not coach. For now, just normal supporter of the Singapore national team. Player to watch, I think for me, it has to be Nur Adam. He had a fantastic season. It has been a long time. I think there are comparisons between him and Kadeyaya, so Coach Kadeyaya. There has and also comparisons to the late Burhan Abu Sama. So if you can
It's very
think
high comparison.
if you can think about it, these are players who play way back. So we haven't seen players with such quality or the style of play for a very long
A
time.
very
And
no-nonsense defender.
true, no nonsense defender who can attack, who can take his man on, who can defend, who can attack. It is if there's an overseas player, he reminds me of Dennis Irwin. I'll be very
Wow.
honest. He reminds me of
Wow.
Dennis Irwin, the way he plays. I don't want to put pressure on him. But yeah, to me, I'll say this. I think, to me, he's the player to watch. For me, he's the player to watch, and I'm gonna name two more players. I think Faris Ramli. I want him to break away. He's not young anymore. I think I want him to use this opportunity to cement his name as one of the players that every ASEAN clubs would want to get. Faris Ramli. And another one, surprise, I'm gonna go with Song Woo-young. I think if he starts, I'm hoping for him to do well. Yeah, these three: Nur Adam, Faris, Song Woo-young.
Nice. For myself, I think definitely agree. Of course, Mr. Young Player of the Year, Nur Adam Abdullah. Of course, he's like what you guys say is true. He's really a no-nonsense defender. And for his age to play in such maturity level of what he did, it's beyond outstanding. He deserved that award, no doubt. That's one of the players. I agree, Mr. JB. Jacob Muller is one of it that I personally feel that if he given the time and minute, I'm very confident he will give his everything way more than what most of the experienced player would. Also agree, okay, maybe a special mention, but to me, not really one to watch, but special mention Song Woo-young, of course, because, well, he's new, his first ever tournament with us. We're all excited. But the one player that I would say want to watch, if he's given the time minute as well, is Amy Reka. Amy Reka, if given the time, I'm really hoping that he can carry like how he ended the season with Geylang. Of course, he may not really end it in the high in the last few matches, but no doubt he deserved the call up. And no doubt I know that getting this kind of call up, especially for these kind of players who rarely get to feature, we're definitely going to boost them even more. They want to put their name and stamp their position there for a long time to come. So I think that's my take for players to watch. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching Football Focus SG with us. Do check us out on Spotify and like, share, subscribe down below, comment down below whether you agree with us or not. Share with us your thoughts and we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everyone.